Today, we are talking the worst of the worst. These are the 10 worst whiskeys in my entire collection. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Brad's Bourbon Reviews. I'm Brad, and today we're going to talk about the worst whiskeys in my collection. I am fortunate enough to have about 350 bottles in my collection, and let's be honest, they're not all great. And these right here are the ones that are just probably will never even reach for again, and I will go through why on each individual bottle. Enough talking, let's get into it with number one. These are in no particular order. First up, Fireball. But hear me out, not regular Fireball. This is the Fireball, like the aged Fireball. This is just dog shit. This is batch one of this Dragon Reserve. I don't know how Sazerac has found a way to make this swill the backbone of the bourbon industry. Like if you talk to any store owner, they talk about allocation bottles and like how they get them. And it used to be all kind of centered around Fireball. I don't understand it. I don't know who's drinking this. It's horrible. This one's bad too, even though it's like a fancy Fireball. I think the only difference is like it's aged more, but I don't care. It's trash. It is 66 proof. It's awful. And I have this as a reminder of how bad whiskey can be. Because this is brutal. It's offensively bad. Moving on to the next one. I actually was going to include this on this list, and then I decided not to because I hadn't tried it yet, just because I knew it was going to be bad. But then I was like, I can't say something's bad if I haven't tried it. So I cracked it open right before this episode. You can see it's been open now. And I poured a very small amount, and I threw the rest of the sip down the sink. It's horrible. This is Beam's 8-star. This is 20% Jim Beam, 80% distilled spirit. Somehow it counts as a whiskey because it's a Kentucky whiskey blend. I mean, I knew this was going to be bad. I got it as a goof. I got it for the videos. I got it to, and I am going to do a proper review of it. It's probably the worst one on this video, if I'm being honest. It is just awful. If you see this and you're not getting it as a goof, run away. Moving on to the next one. I spoke a little too soon because this one's actually the worst one on this list, and it's not even close. I forgot this one was sitting up here. I have like blocked this out of my brain. I've had whiskeys before that I just didn't like and have made me like dry heave. This one's the closest I came to actually throwing up with. I don't know why. Like, it exists. I don't know why. I don't know whose idea this was, but I hope that whoever thought this up is fired and homeless right now because it's that bad. I'm joking only a little bit. This is Dickel Tabasco. You've seen the video. Boy, oh boy. It is a travesty, a waste of like this corn could have been made for anything else. At 70 proof whiskey finished in a Tabasco barrel. It's what it is, and what it is offensive garbage. It's so bad, like I read whiskey reviews and I hear them be like, Jack Daniels is the worst whiskey on the planet. And I'm like, bro, you've never tried Dickel Tabasco, and it shows. My goal in life now is to find someone who genuinely thinks this is good, and I just want to follow them around for a day and figure out where it all went wrong, because something happened to you if you think this is good. And I know we shouldn't say that in the whiskey world. We should be welcoming, but I have questions if you like this. Moving on to the next one. All right, a little bit of a different direction here where this is just bad bourbon. It's not as bad as these other ones for sure. Like, this is in a different bad category, but it is one of the ones that I think of when someone asks about like, what's the worst bourbon you've ever had? This is up there for me. This is Blue Run Kentucky Straight High Rye Bourbon Whiskey. I got this on clearance for like $36 at a liquor store in South Carolina years ago, and $36 was too much for this. Like, it's terrible. I don't know who likes this. I have had stuff from them that wasn't bad. So this to me is just like a one-off. I thought it was bad when I tried it, and I did I think I did a review it early on when I first started doing reviews. I thought I was gonna dig it. I hated it. I was like, maybe it's just not good by itself. Maybe it's good on ice. Terrible. Maybe it's good in Coke, and it ruined my soda. I don't have a place for this. This is just gonna sit here on the shelf for the rest of time. You can see the thick layer of dust around it. I haven't touched this thing in forever. I break it out sometimes to show people bad whiskey. When someone says like, that's really bad, I will go like, you haven't tried this. And I like high rye bourbon. I like Old Granddad. I like some of the other high rye bourbon, like Blanton's is usually pretty good. You know, it's just not for me, and I don't get it. Moving on to the next one. It wouldn't be a Brad's Bourbon Reviews video if I didn't mention Jack Daniels. Now, you've probably never had this, and to you, I say that's awesome, and you should keep it that way. This is not indicative of this entire series. In fact, I love what they're doing with this series, but this just doesn't work, and I don't think it's a Jack Daniels thing. I think this concept just doesn't work. This is Jack Daniels finished in añejo tequila barrels. I think you can age tequila in previously used whiskey and bourbon barrels. I don't think it works the other way around. I've had 2 of them and it just doesn't work. But this is the only one I own, and this makes the list. This is awful. I mean, it's just bad. Like, it doesn't smell good. Ugh. Oh, it smells like tequila. I hate it so much. This is the only thing from Jack Daniel's I've ever had that I have hated. Like, I hate this. I hate it. I will never touch another drop out of this. I'm glad I have it because I'm going to eventually collect all of these Distillery Series bottles. But man, it ain't good. It just ain't. Moving on to the next one. All right. For a long time in my collection, this was the one I pointed to as the worst whiskey I've ever had. That was before I got some of these other bottles, but this is just as bad as any of those other ones that I've put in this list. This is the Jim Beam Repeal batch. I really hate this bottle. I do like Jim Beam. I have kind of come around on them in the last year or so, but this is just horrifically bad. Don't understand who this is for. I don't know why they made it. It smells like shoe polish. I mean, it is just bad. It's 86 proof. It's literally making my eyes water. I don't know if you can see in the video. It's making my eyes water. It's terrible. If this is the bottle that you released to celebrate the repeal of Prohibition, I think we need to go back because this is dog. Moving on to the next one. All right, moving on to a bottle that you probably found my channel because of. It's making the rounds again. Every once in a while, I see this video pop off on like other, whiskey Instagram and whiskey YouTube short channels. It just gets passed around. I don't know how many millions of views that video has at this point. If you don't know the story, I was in a Walmart liquor store and I posted a really short, like 15-second video about this bottle, making fun of it. Long story short, within like a day or two, I think it was like overnight, it got like 1 million views. And on my channel, and I've seen other channels with it, and it has like an additional 800,000. So I honestly don't know how many millions of people have seen this video. Kind of weird to think about, actually. Long story short, the distillery reached out to me. They were super cool for me shitting on their whiskey, and I hope they're cool again because it's dog whiskey. It's Tim Smith Southern Reserve whiskey. I don't like to shit on this dude that much, but if I'm talking about the worst whiskeys in my collection, they actually sent me this bottle because of the video that I made, and I thought it was super generous of them to do so. This is really bad. They claim they do this method. The reason the video popped off was because this has aged for 24 hours with oak chips. And they say that like they hook up electricity to the barrels and it like rapidly ages it. Look, if that worked, every distillery in the world would switch to that method. And since they haven't done that, that's how you know it doesn't work and it's nonsense. Yeah, it's bad. And they were good sports about me shitting on them. So shout out to them. And I'm actually am going to go still to the distillery. It is in North Carolina, about 2 hours from where I stay. Eventually I'm going to go up there and say hi and apologize for getting millions of people to shit on your brand. I'm very, very sorry. Moving on to the next one. This was another one for a while that I thought was probably the worst whiskey I've ever had. And recently it's been knocked off by like Dickel and stuff. But for a while, this was up there. This is a bottle that I really can't find any information on. There's no back label to it. It's just this bottle. And it is called Country Gentleman. It is Kentucky bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. I don't know how they can get away with that because for it to be bourbon, it can't have natural flavors. Usually when they add flavors to bourbon, that bumps it down to like 70 proof. This is still 80 proof. I might have to get Randy from Bourbon Real Talk on the case and see if this is an illegal label. I don't know, but I really hope whoever made this is in jail because they need to be. It's bad. This again smells just like shoe polish. Oh, it's brutal. It's like caramel shoe polish. I guess would be, and I would like to get some confirmation if anyone is a distiller who watches these videos. I know I have people who make whiskey that watch these videos. When you're doing the runs on the still, they're like cutting too far away from like the heart of the runs. What would make that shoe polish note? Comment down below if anyone knows. Let me know. I'd like to know what that is. So I bought this for $2.34. I wish I still had that $2.34 because I will literally never go back to this. It's just abysmal. Moving on to the next one. All right, next one here is a bottle that was given to me as a gift by a friend of mine when he's helping me move. This is from the BSK over on TikTok. This is Old Charter. I had wanted one of these so bad, and he had one, and like I was sick with the flu when I drank it for the first time. I was just trying to keep the momentum going. When you're moving, you just want it to be done. And I just kept going, and I didn't realize how sick I was till afterwards. And we tried this with some pizza, and it was just bad. And I was like, it's probably because I'm sick. And he's like, just keep it, throw it in the thing. And I remember being like, this is terrible. And he's like, no, it really is bad. And I was like, it can't be as bad as I'm thinking it is. Tried it a few days later after I got sick, and yeah, no, it is that bad. And this wasn't full when he gave it to me, but it is Wow, shockingly bad. People look for this too, and I don't understand it. I'm not a fan at all. I don't know how much this costs, but whatever it is, it's too much. They should pay you to take bottles of this. Moving on to the last one. This one right here is really bad, but it was also really disappointing because I was looking forward to getting this. This is the Canadian exclusive Blanton's Special Reserve. I famously said it tastes like wood chip water. It does. It's bad. I don't think it's as bad as some of these other ones on this list, but it definitely needs to be in the conversation of worst whiskeys in my collection because it's bad. It's really bad. I don't even know if I would even like pick up that this is a Buffalo Trace product. Oh, it just smells bad too. God, it's horrible. They must have like barrels sitting in those warehouses that they know are just going to be terrible. And they're like, just throw it in here. Who gives a shit? It is brutal. That is a horrific mistake from Buffalo Trace to keep making that. But what can you do? Comments down below. Let me know what the worst whiskeys are in your collection. While you're down there, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, cheers. A big thank you to all the Patreon supporters you see on screen right now.